Hi, my name's Alice. Welcome to my channel. This is gonna be a quick video, maybe, who knows, double speed me if you need to, with some tips for Tokyo. Some of these are kind of expanded off what other people have given as tips, and some of these aren't. They're just things that I kind of noticed when I was over there this winter, and others are neurodivergent kind of tips. So my first one, I have a little list to keep me on track because I tend to go off track with my ADHD. First one, everyone says get a purse. So coin purse, because coins are everything. So yes, but I kind of want to expand off that and say get a second one just for 100 yen coins. If you're going to be doing the gachapon and the arcades, keep your 100 yens separate or special 100 yens in like a cute little purse like this maybe, or just, you know, take two and have your everyday purse for, you know, 7-Eleven, going to the shops, all of that stuff. Let me get my little thing, otherwise I'll be arming my way through this. Okay. Shibuya. That's the right way. If you have neurodivergency and crowds are your kryptonite, I'd say go there about 10 o'clock when the shop's open, when it's not so crowded, to kind of get around and do all the things that you want, because it can get overwhelmingly crowded there. The later and later in the day, it just gets fuller and fuller and fuller of people. So start off early and kind of work your way around and do what you want to do, and then obviously get out before it gets too crowded. I was there, you know, in winter, so off season, and it was still super busy. So yeah, that's number one. Don Quixote, another one that's kind of overwhelming, crowded, packed, full of stuff. You want to go there, you want to stock up on your stuff. Yes, you can do, but you can also go to Tokyo Hands or Loft. And as kind of like a side tip note to this, if you've seen something that's like viral and you want to give it a go, especially if it's like shampoo, go to, you know, either one of those, Tokyo Hands or Loft, and you can get a sample of it and try it before you go and buy the full size one to see if it's actually something that works with your hair, that you like it, you know, all of that good stuff. Yeah, so you're not wasting your time and money on something that you know doesn't work. Shinjuku next. Shinjuku station is hell on earth. It's got like 50 exits, and if you're anything like me, I get lost in a paper bag, and the idea of trying to find exit 42 or whatever is a nightmare. So there are other stations either side that are like Shinjuku dash something. I really advise getting off there, finding out which one of those is closest to wherever you're going and using that as your kind of get off station, and walking through that way. Keeping your wits about you as well in Shinjuku. I was there during the day, and let's kind of put it as a foreigner, gave me a look, and if I wasn't aware, they may have tried to dip their hand in my handbag and see what they could take with them. So, you know, this was during the day. So at night time, if you're going drinking, I'd be very aware of what's going on. You know, don't get too inebriated that you know, may lose something, let's say. Someone may help you lose something. What's the other thing about that? Oh yeah, neuro spicy. If you want to do the arcades, you know, but it's kind of like, it's really overwhelming because the noise they make as it is, just without you even touching them, is a lot. but the ones in Shinjuku seem to not be as noisy, and maybe because like I'm not like I went on my own, so I wasn't really out and about at night time. So it was the times when I was out was during the day or like the afternoon, so the arcades weren't as full either, so it just was a more relaxed kind of energy. So if you get kind of, what I'm saying is, if you're neurospicy and you get overwhelmed by noise and people, I'd say those arcades are the better ones to go to if you want to do all the crane games and win the figurines. That's it. So that's Shinjuku. 2 coin pairs. Suica card. Put it, if you've got an iPhone, just put it on your phone. It's so much easier. I wear mine on like a chain around me. Anyway, that was kind of like my Hong Kong influenced me into getting one. It seemed like everyone had one. And it's just easy to have it and slap it on the machine and away you go. And when you want to top it up, you can just do it on your phone. You don't have to be finding a machine and figuring out whether you can do it with card or cash or whatever. You're just away and done. Talking about card and cash, 7-Eleven ATMs do international bank withdrawal. So if you need any cash, 7-Elevens, and they have 7-Eleven banks where it's like a room full of ATMs. So you're good. The one 7-Eleven bank I did see was in Shinjuku. So if it's nighttime, I suppose they're open 24/7. You can go. So it's 7-Eleven, so it's fine. You will have access to cash wherever you go. So that's that. This is kind of like advice tip. Don't get your hopes set up on something that you want to buy. If you see something, let's say I got this from Kiddieland. This is what I brought back from my mum. Took a picture of it, haha hee hee, because we actually knew someone who had a cat that was like a unit like this, and she was like, go back and get it for me. So I did. But you know, you could be like, oh, I love that, see something on TikTok, see something on Instagram or whatever, and want to go and buy that. The turnover of products in Tokyo is really fast, and you know, don't kind of just go and think I'm going to get that and maybe be disappointed in not being able to. I also kind of want to say, on that kind of level of disappointment as well, there were a few moments where it was Instagram reality for me, and that may be the case for you. So have backup plans for places. If you go somewhere that you see all over social media and you think it looks sparkly, brilliant, wonderful, and when you get there it doesn't look sparkly, brilliant, wonderful, you know, have somewhere to go on a backup list to kind of take you out of that kind of dip. Otherwise it could like ruin the day or kind of ruin your holiday. So make sure you have backup spots for you to go to. That's a tip. If you love a particular character, I'd say go to all the shops, because they all seem to have like different products. So, you know, go down to Character Street in Tokyo Station, you know, go and look where all the different shops are for Ghibli, Rilakkuma, you know, Sanrio, Jump Street, I think, yeah. Just look them all up and go to them all if you have time. You know, make sure you kind of slot them in, look up where they are and kind of slot them into the day where you know you're going to be near them, because there may be something that, you know, you see in one shop that you didn't see in another and you're like, it's the holy grail. And on that kind of front, go to the secondhand stores, book off, hard off. I went into a mall in Shinjuku that had, I can't remember what they're called, those little round men. It begins with D. This is where my brain kind of has turned off. And they have like a gachapon where you can get like a bigger one. You write down your wish and something about, anyway, it's in, you'll notice it. if you know what I'm talking about, and I'll write it down in the description what I'm actually talking about, there's a mall in Shinjuku, and if you go upstairs, there is a secondhand store in there as well. So it's kind of like just keeping your eyes peeled and going exploring places. You'll find secondhand places, and you'll find figurines, maybe more likely, that, you know, you were like, oh, if only I'd come here like 2 weeks earlier when that was out on sale. You know, it could be there. There was loads of Spy Family merch out because the film was coming out in December. So there was loads of Spy Family merch everywhere that, you know, had been in the arcades and had been for sale, that obviously then ended up in the secondhand stores. So do that. So that's that tip. Pokemon. So all the Pokemon stores seem to be different. They all actually seem to be a lot smaller than when you see them on people's YouTube videos. I have a bone to pick with people who shoot YouTube videos, actually, because I don't know what lens you'll be using or all of that shit, but everything seems to be a lot different in real life. So this was one of those. So definitely go to the Ikebukuro one because it was the bigger one. I think it's probably the OG store. And they have, if you do the cards, if you do the Pokemon Go, they've got sections for all of that in these like little alcoves outside of the store. And they have Kuji, which is the lottery. So you go and buy a ticket and win a prize. They ring a bell there. If you're from the UK, you'll know it. It's like a dinner lady bell. But this one seems to pierce your soul. It's that loud. So if you have sound sensitivity, again, you may want to learn how to say, please don't ring the bell. Thank you. Because I bought 2 tickets and had my soul shook twice by that bell. Instagram vs reality, again, about food. If you see somewhere you want to eat, just go and eat there. Don't let other people kind of dictate what you're eating by saying, oh, this is rubbish, this is great, this is that, this is the other. Don't be a basic bitch and go and eat here. You know, just eat where you want to eat. Because I've learned, and it kind of coincided with seeing a TikTok video of someone saying they went to an event and the food was not so great, but everyone they went to the event with was like bigging it up like it was the best meal they'd had ever. And they were like, this is where I realised influencers just chat shit, basically. And I noticed that when I went to Disney. So I went on my birthday because you're on the other side of the world on your own. On your birthday, where do you go? Somewhere where everyone is super happy, and so you're not going to be feeling alone and depressed on your birthday. So that's where I went, and one thing didn't disappoint me about that, so I'm going to say that first. The little mochi aliens, they were great. I think I had them twice. But yeah, so they were great. But I've seen people eat this and be like, oh, this is delicious. The Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc., is that his name? The little green dude. And there's so he's a little green melon pan. So the bread tasted like faux melon and the custard inside tasted like faux melon. So it was like faux melon overload. It wasn't the best, but I see people biting into it and being like, oh, this is delicious. No. So bear that in mind when you're anywhere, but you know, when you're over there, just do what you're doing and eat what you want to eat, basically. I grew up in a big city. If you're coming from a big city, maybe also be an ADHD thing for me. The pace at what people walk at is not fast paced. I see people going, Tokyo is so fast paced. No offense to those people, but I'm sure you probably don't come from a big city to be kind of being able to gauge what fast paced is, maybe. At rush hour, yes, everyone's like rushing about. The pace takes it up a notch. But normally, and even like just before and just after rush hour, it's kind of like just a tiny bit, so it is annoying. pace. It's like you can't overtake somebody because there isn't enough room to, but you're kind of wanting to walk a bit fast, you know. It, unless unless this is something that is an issue for you, you're not going to understand what I'm saying. But if you get me, you get me, and you just have to be slightly annoyed. My baggage is another tip. If you can't add another luggage onto your when you go to the airport or whatever, because I was finding it hard to contact my, the two airlines I was going through with, so I just thought it's easier for me to just use this my baggage. I'd got a suitcase from Loft which was like £95, and my baggage was like 200 and something pounds, and they do it all over the world. Did I say that? And ship back all my clothes like a couple of days before I went back myself, and it was great service. Not sponsored by them at all, but you've got to look before you kind of think of doing that. You've got to look at what you can ship back via customs yourself, and it's kind of a pain in the ass, as in filling the customs form in with every item you have put in the suitcase, but was worth it, because obviously the anxiety of turning up to the airport and maybe being like, no, you haven't got 2 suitcases on your under your name or whatever. Me, because I overthink, that's what was going through my head. So this just took that away from me. Another one. So if you're like me and you want to go and buy giant chubby cat plushies for your mum, or Pokemon plushies, or Wim plushies at the arcade, which I did a whole suitcase full, or and I did the kind of going off subject here, but I did the thing in Disney where you play the carnival game, and I won a cushion. So I had a lot of squishy stuff that needed making smaller, but what I kind of was resorted to was vacuum bags from Daiso that you squeeze the air out of, and they weren't brilliant. So my tip would be to get one of the set that comes with this, so you can suck the air out yourself, because coming home and now using them to store my plushies in, because I'm moving soon, hopefully, a lot more has fit in these bags than what was in the ones that I got from Daiso. Even though at one point I did go and get the ones where you can vacuum suck out the air, and used the hotel vacuum cleaner, it still didn't get it as kind of compressed as I could with that version of a kind of vacuum seal bag. Last one, I think, Klook, Klook. I'll mention other stuff in the description if I forget stuff as well, so check that out. But Klook, I got my SIM card with them, and I did a mobile Wi-Fi when I was in Hong Kong, and I actually prefer the SIM card. I know it may work out more expensive if it's like you and someone else that's going, but I'd kind of say if you're ever going to get separated from that person, it works out a lot better that you both have individual Wi-Fi kind of on your phone. So I did that. I did an experience. I did a walk through Shinjuku Park in the night to look at all the autumn foliage, which was really good, and I never would have known about that or got a ticket for it had I not been had my Klook app. I got my Disney ticket through there. There's lots of things, the Tokyo, it's not Tokyo, it's the labs, Borderless Planets, if you want to go to them. I didn't go to them, but if you want to go to them, because there's 2 open now, or any kind of art, anything. I'm kind of like waffling now. You can book that stuff, and it's just on your phone. Then you can, if it has like a thing that you can put in your wallet to use to scan, you know, I'm talking about Apple phones now, but you know, in the little wallet thing, and you're good to go. So that was good for me. Let me just check my little piece of paper. I went in mind of I was going to be nostalgic and get myself a Game Boy, but when I got there and went to I'm not going to mention the name, but the popular, let's say, second-hand retro game shop, it kind of was a little disappointing in how expensive they were, and they didn't have the games I wanted either to go with it. So I actually ended up going to, as I mentioned, Book Off, and I got a brand new, never been used Switch Lite for cheaper than a you know, retro Game Boy, and I got games as well from Book Off, half price. So I know we all kind of look at that and think like, nostalgia, I'd love that, but when you get there and you see the price, kind of realistically, because I know sometimes people do these videos and they're showing it and they're like buying it and whatever, but no one actually shows what the price is. I did actually see in a Book Off, which was funny, it was like 700 yen or something, but I was like, I didn't actually, was it 700 or 7,000? It was, what that made it? No, it was 700. A little, you know, the little Game Boys with the colour, that's it, Game Boy Colour. And it was, but I didn't want to risk it for the fact that I still couldn't find any games. But go to the Book Offs, go and look about those. And something else popped into my head when this is the perils of having ADHD. You talk about one thing and the other thing drops out of the other ear. The animals. If you want to go and pet some animals, go further afield. I went to Odiaba Aqua City. I've done like a little short on it with the capybara. They had capybara, meerkats, everything, and the animals were just being animals. You know, the meerkats were just being naughty and trying to munch on my shoelaces. The capybaras were just mooching about in the little bath, having a little soak. You could pet some hedgehogs and or some other stuff in another room, and there were the ring-tailed llamas, not llamas, Jesus Christ, Alice, lemurs. They had some of those. They were just chilling on their little thing up in the ceiling, and they didn't feel like the animals were overwhelmed. I went to a place in Harajuku. I'm not going to say what it was, and I'm not going to say what the animals were, but the animals that I saw, it made me turn around and not go in because they looked really overwhelmed and really kind of like it was too much. And that was even, as I said, I went in off season and it was really busy and they just looked overwhelmed as fuck. And, you know, that just didn't sit right with me. I went to, as well, in Shibuya, a little hedgehog place, which was cute. You know, the hedgehog, I just let the hedgehog sleep and I stroked it with the gloves on, and there was a little teeny weeny one and I just held that whilst he kind of used my hand as a little heated hammock. But I'd say before booking to go and see the animals somewhere, kind of go there and see what the animals look like, because you might kind of think, actually, I don't want to add to the stress of what this animal is going through. Yeah, I think that's it. That's my tips for Tokyo. As I said, if there's anything else, I'll do it in the description box. And if you want me to, I'll do it anyway, but you know, if you want me to, write in the comments what I kind of felt was more of a hype than, you know, that kind of Instagram reality of things in Tokyo that, you know, you can kind of just pass by. You know, what's that sound? Okay, here we go. On on TikTok. You know, it'll be one of those. You just go take your picture and be like, oh, okay, that was that moments. Now I'm feeling really awkward after that. So yeah, so that is this, and you know, hope you have a great time in Tokyo when you go.